artists, art teacher Abby here, ready to make some art with you today. Today we're going to use some recycled materials to create a little sea animal diorama. And so we're using some recycled cardboard, and we're going to use some paper and other materials to create a little sea scene, an underwater scene using some cardboard. And so we're going to start with, you've got a scrap of cardboard in your box, and we are using this artist that I really love. Her name is Sally Payne, and she is an artist that makes a lot of really fun animal characters in her work. She works both in digital art, which means she uses a computer or a tablet to create her art, or a lot of times she'll use cardboard and paper. So these are all examples of little animal friends she made with cardboard and cut paper designs. So she'll cut pieces of paper to create some of these really fun patterns and textures. This one she created on the computer. So we're going to kind of use her for inspiration because she uses really fun colors and patterns and texture. And we're going to create our own sea animals. So if you wanted to create a whale, like the two here that Sally has, you can. I also included some outline shapes of sea animals if you wanted some help or inspiration, or you could just make up your own. You could draw a big octopus or jellyfish like what we have in our other project in our box. Any and all sea creatures are totally fine. You could make up your own. You could do a mermaid, anything you want. I think that I am wanting to try a sea turtle. So I'm going to use my recycled cardboard. You can see it's from a box of drinks here. And I'm going to start with making this rounded kind of teardrop shape for the shell. And then I'm gonna come in and kind of draw like a rounded head shape, and then some thin legs here. Sea turtles kind of have like smaller shaped legs at the bottom. So just like this, that's my little outline there for my silly little sea creature turtle. So I'm going to cut that out. What I love about using recycled boxes from food products like cereal boxes or crackers or drinks or frozen food things is the cardboard's really thin, so it's easy to cut with scissors. You'll notice later in our project when we're cutting some shipping boxes, those are a little bit trickier to do sometimes. So when you're doing recycled cardboard art, sometimes it's helpful to use these lighter weight paper cardboards. I'm just going to cut out my sea turtle. Okay. What animal did you decide to do? That's gonna be awesome. That sounds like a very creative idea. There we go. There's my little sea turtle cutout, and I can save these scraps for later. And I think that I might want to give my sea turtle a little bit of color first before I add some paper designs. So I'm going to use some of this teal paint that came in the box and just give him a little bit. And my brush had some of that dark blue on it too, so I'm just going to let those colors kind of blend and mix and not worry too much about how perfect the color is, just to give it a little bright spot of color. Now I am getting paint all over my surface that I'm working on, so I want to be thinking about my cleanup and where I'm painting. So make sure if you need to put like some paper, newspaper, extra cardboard, something down on your surface so you're not ruining like your table or wherever you are working. Oops. Okay, so there we go. And I am going to let that dry off to the side. All right, my sea turtle friend is all dry. So now I'm gonna start giving him a little bit of fun decoration with my papers. And I think I'm gonna start, I've got this piece of darker blue tissue paper that I think I'm gonna start by giving his shell a slightly different color just so that it stands out from his body. So I'm gonna grab my pencil and just do a little bit of outlining here so that I can kind of cut a shell shape out. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but if I have an outline, it'll at least give me a little bit better idea of what size it needs to be for me to cut it out to fit. So maybe something a little like that. Yeah, so see, that just gives his shell and his body some contrast. So I'm going to glue that on. And I'm going to grab my glue, just do a little bit of glue like this, and then grab my glue brush, kind of spread that glue out a little bit so it's not so bumpy. And then put this down and kind of smooth it out. There we go. And if you've got a glue stick at home, you can use a glue stick for this project as well. And now I want to give my sea turtle some interesting shell patterns and designs. So I'm going to look at my stack of papers here and kind of figure out what I might want that to look like. This is kind of a fun pattern that might look cool on my sea turtle. So I'm going to start by just kind of, I'm going to cut a shape that might fit right here. And this part, you can just have fun with this. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't matter what exactly you decide to do. And I'm just going to cut some shapes to kind of fit along my turtle. Maybe like that. And let's see, maybe put that one there. I think I might need a slightly bigger shape or something to go there. So let's give that a try. Still have some paper I can use. Let's see. Now that I'm seeing this, I might kind of switch up the order to kind of fit better. If that goes there. This is the part about working with paper collage, is you can kind of move things around and make it fit the way you want once you kind of lay things out and see how it's looking. So I might cut that a little smaller. Maybe this one will go here, and then I just need a little one right there, which is perfect because I'm running out of this paper, so I can make there. All right, so I'm gonna glue those down. Did you find some paper in your stack that you like? Which one did you pick? I bet it's looking awesome so far. I wish I could see all these wonderful creatures you're creating. so now our turtle has a little bit of design and pattern. And going back to our Sally Payne references, you can kind of see some of the cool ideas that she has to add even more layers. So I might think about maybe adding something along the edge here. Like, let's see, what colors? I could do something with green, or I could maybe just do something like a lavender, or I might use my lavender. I like how she created this sort of sprinkle effect on the body there. She kind of has it here and here too. So maybe I'll add a couple lavender sprinkles on my turtle's body just for a little bit of texture. So I'm going to cut some skinny strips. And if you need help with this part at all, you can always ask someone for some help. I'm just going to stack up some of my skinny strips like this and just kind of cut some longer kind of sprinkle shapes like that. And then I'm going to dip my glue brush in glue and just kind of paint along the turtle's arm here, and just kind of sprinkle some of this on his little arm there, just to give it a little bit of character and design. Yeah, it kind of just gives it a little texture. I'm gonna add some on this side to this one. And see, I got a little bit of glue on my finger, and that actually kind of helps me pick up some of the little sprinkles as I'm putting those on one by one. One more like right here, and then I think I'll do the same. Actually, I might do something different on the leg. Maybe I'll give the bottom legs like some stripes or something. So let's see what other colors I have here. I've got this yellow, maybe some green, or let's see here, this darker, maybe that might look good. So I'm going to, once again, kind of cut some skinny strips and kind of sort of measure. You can use a pencil for this part, or you can kind of just free cut. I'm just going to add maybe some little stripes like that on the bottom. Okay, and then I'll glue those down. There we go. There we go. And then if you wanted to like maybe add some eyes or a face to your turtle, you can. If you wanted to add some more to this part of the turtle, like I wonder what it would look like if we brought some of this color into the shell. Let's just see what a small shape like that would look like. Kind of like that. Might try that on a couple more and see if I like the way that looks and if I want to glue that down. Yeah, that I think just adds a little extra texture and pattern. Gives our turtle a little bit more interesting shapes going on. This one's a little big, so we'll move that. Yeah, something like that. So I'll glue those down. And then we're going to start creating our diorama scene with our turtle friend here. So in a minute we'll get our box out and I'll show you how to get that started. All right, so my little turtle friend is done here, and I could keep going. I could keep adding things. Like I said, you could add a face, or you could start to bring in some other materials. Like if you wanted to bring in markers or paint or anything else to the surface, you could create, oh, I forgot to glue this one. You could create a really fun, interesting animal that way. Okay, so I am going to get my stuff ready for the box part of this. So I'm gonna pause here and I want you to grab your Artful Seeds box. Okay, so I grabbed my Artful Seeds box, and your box may look a little different than mine, but the point is the same. What we want to do is cut off any of the edges so that we just have a flat box on the bottom and just those little sides. So I'm going to cut this part of my box right here, and I have included some black cut lines in your box so that you know where to cut. And cutting cardboard, especially box cardboard, can be a little tricky, so if you need help from a grown-up to help you cut it, just ask. Okay, so I've got my box here, and with this you could do all sorts of things. You could paint this background, you could lay some paper down, you could keep it cardboard colored. For mine, I'm going to keep it cardboard colored, but if you wanted to, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see everything. If you wanted to decorate this back space first with anything before we start, you could definitely do that. So we've got our turtle friend here, and we're wanting to create kind of a fun coral reef, seaweed diorama scene here. So I'm going to grab I'm going to start first by gluing some fun colors and textures in the background before I glue my turtle in. So I'm just going to grab some scraps of my papers that I have. Let's see. I've got like this orange polka dot one, and I'm just going to cut kind of a loose seaweed shape, and you can make this look any way you want. I'm just going to kind of have some loose, you know, kind of coral reef finger leafy shapes. And I didn't draw it out first. I'm just cutting freehand. Sometimes the fun part of working with collage is just how loose it can look, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but see, that kind of works pretty well. So I can add that there. Maybe I'll do like a tall purple one that goes in the background. Or maybe I can layer that like behind this kind of coral orange color one. some texture and color. Got this extra scrap here. Okay, so I can kind of glue these in the background, add a little texture. I could maybe rip some of my tissue paper. I already have this ripped piece of tissue paper. I could glue some blue here if I wanted to add a little bit of like a water texture at the top. So I think I'm going to glue those things down, and then pour some more glue in my glue cup. And again, you could use a plate, the plate you got in your box, or you could just do it straight out of your bottle. But sometimes having a little bit of on a brush can kind of help, especially if you're gluing a lot of things down. So I'm going to paint a little bit of glue up there. Kind of stick these pieces down. There we go, like that. And I'm going to put a little bit more glue on top right here. I'm going to add my little coral reef. That. And then let's see, I think I want maybe a little something over here before I get my turtle in there, because let's see, our turtle friend is going to be kind of like this. So maybe, let's see, or I might just try, got this lighter color tissue paper, I got some purple, some yellow, and some of this like pink. I might rip a little bit, kind of crinkle it, just like glue some of this texture down, kind of like this, just to give it a little bit of texture. Because what's fun about a diorama is it doesn't have to be super flat, because you're working in a box, so things can kind of stick out and be more dimensional, and that can look really neat. There we go. Let's see what my turtle friend looks like now. Oops. Yeah, okay. And then you also have these cupcake liners that you can fold and kind of use as like layered coral. You know, so if we take one of these and kind of flatten it out, they also kind of look like clam shells, so that's kind of fun. You can maybe glue some of these on the bottom. Maybe I like these yellow and white ones too, because those are a little bit brighter than some of the other colors we have. You know, I might fold this in half and then take my scissors and cut it down the middle so that I end up with smaller pieces that I could kind of layer like this. So I'm going to kind of create a little bit of a texture here. Play around, because my turtle might cover some of it, so sometimes with the collage technique you kind of have to test things out and see where it's going to work best. So if I glue my turtle up higher, that's going to give me a little bit more room to put stuff at the bottom like that. I'm going to glue those down really quick. A little bit inside my cupcake liner too, so those don't come undone. And notice how I'm just gluing the bottom piece, because again, that texture and the fact that it's sticking up is not a problem, because it's a diorama. We actually kind of want some of that to happen. each other. There, so let's see what our turtle friend looks like here. So I'm liking this so far. What I don't love is this part right here, because this color blue I chose and the blue of my turtle is making him get a little lost, like it's blending in a little bit too much. So what I could do is maybe add a little something up there just to kind of break some of that up. So maybe I pop a little bit of orange tissue paper so I could rip this out. Let's do a bigger strip. I'm gonna rip this and do some textured orange up here, like what I did with the purple there, but then this time this orange, see how it kind of helps pop that up a little bit better. So I'm gonna glue that down. Okay, so I've added these orange parts here, and I'm starting to add some glue here into the base of my turtle. Now you don't necessarily need glue over the whole thing, because I really am just concerned about part of the body sticking, not necessarily the head and the legs, because that kind of actually gives it a little extra movement. So this is kind of how that's looking. There we go. Now I could keep adding things to my turtle. I might come in and add a little extra here, like add some more plants there. But that is our little sea creature diorama. I bet yours looks awesome. Good job today, artists. Thanks for making art with me. See you next time.